Of course I broke it. I've been beating the absolute out of this thing basically since the day I got it. Welcome back, everybody. For those of you that are just joining us or just found this video, we're going to be making a quick little update on the 2004 E55 that I bought in late spring and kind of everything that has gone on in those last few months, and drag racing it, breaking it, and what we've had to do thus far. And kind of where I want to start is, buying this thing with over 180,000 miles on it for less than 10 grand, slapping some tires on it, changing some fluids, and taking it straight to the drag strip and being able to run these numbers. This is late August, again, right after I got the car basically back together, or not back together, but ready to go, roadworthy at least, and took it straight to the drag strip, completely bone stock, 13.3. And again, for all these slips that I'm going to show you guys, I am always in the left lane. 13.1. 13.4. 13.2. And this is when I broke it, which we'll talk about in a second. At this point, the car was heat soaked, and we had a little mishap, which we'll talk about. But basically, after weeks and weeks of waiting for parts and repairs and everything else, we went right back to the drag strip, and immediately broke into the 12 seconds. Again, always in the left lane. They didn't clock me on this run for some reason, but a few weeks ago, we made a video of me changing the TCU to a MK Ultra Electronics Stage 1 TCU. And the consistency of this thing, I think, is the most impressive, which again, right off the bat, 12.6, again, always in the left lane. 12.6. 12.5. 12.5. At this point, it was heat soaked. But I am impressed because this thing, again, has nearly 200,000 miles. It's a 20-year-old supercharged Mercedes. And yeah, things broke, but things are gonna break no matter what you get. Side marker. This thing is also always filthy. We'll clean it one day, I promise. But in that first batch of time slips that you guys saw, the last run at 13.2, basically immediately after crossing the line, there was just smoke pouring out of the engine bay. I limped it over to, kind of off the track, and this entire driver's side of the engine bay was just drenched in oil. I had to tow it home at that point and kind of wait so I had time to actually figure out what had happened. And I cleaned up the engine bay, wiped everything off as best I could, and ran it again. And basically what I found is these lines here, which are actually oil cooler lines. This one down here, right off this fitting, basically every time it got hot, it would just squirt out oil, and it would just completely cover this entire side of the engine bay. So I ordered those lines, some hardware, some O-rings, waited for those parts to come in. The parts finally came in. To replace those lines, you have to take apart this kind of upper tie bar here, the fan shroud. I took the bumper off too, I think, just for better access. One of those lines ends up over here, kind of behind the bumper, to a little mini cooler, and then the other one wraps all the way around and over to an auxiliary cooler that sits behind the engine bay over there. When I was taking off the line to the auxiliary cooler over there, the threads basically came with the lines off that cooler. So then we had to order that cooler. So here goes another couple of weeks of waiting for parts. Um, Finally got everything in, put everything back together, and I took it on its first rip, and basically immediately this I don't know if you guys can see it, that coolant hose right there, which basically has a little plastic T that comes off to a little line and goes right over to that reservoir. That hose blew. Not that little hose, but the main one over here. And I had to, again, limp it home, order the coolant hose. I ordered that little breather hose there, along with the tank, because as I was taking that apart, this whole kind of nipple there broke off, and waited for that to come in. At the same time, we ordered, a new Gates belt, OEM serpentine belt. We got the Ultimate Performance and Design tensioner pulley and the double idler down there, which you can't really see right now, but basically like a month or more of waiting for parts and waiting for things to come in and time to work on this thing. But I got everything back together and basically went right back to the track. And that's when I started running those mid 12-second quarter miles. And I think that's really what I want to shed light on, is that this thing is 20 years old with nearly 200,000 miles, and I'm still just super impressed with it. I think asking much of anything of any car, besides just kind of taking you from point A to point B, let alone beating on it down a quarter mile drag race over and over again, and still being able to drive you home is a tall order for anything. And this thing is still going, and yeah, we've had some repairs to do, but we're gonna keep going with it and see how much further we can get it. I am not done with this car. We have a few more repairs to do, and I don't know, kind of maintenance things and mods and upkeep to try to keep this thing in as good of a condition as we can. But either way, I just kind of wanted to make a quick little update for you guys. Any questions or anything, leave them down in the comments. And until then, I'll see you in the next one.